So every company has a phone that is the best. And for Samsung, this is the best. This is the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. About a little over 2 months in. And this phone is very impressive. I haven't had any issues with this thing. Unlike a lot of other Samsung devices, I have actually not experienced much lag, if any, at all. No reboots, no crashes, no nothing. And I just wanted to revisit this again for you. Let you know it is still in rotation. I get down with an actual SIM card in there, and I'm actually using it. This phone is actually really great. A lot of people will go on record and say that, oh, this is the best phone on the market. I won't go so far as to say that, but what I will say, this is the best phone that Samsung has ever given us. And I think this is probably going to stay king supreme for Samsung for quite some time to come. I mean, you think about what this phone is offering. It has a 6.3-inch Quad HD display and this 18:9 ratio. So that's 1440 by 2960. Shoots at 4K on the rear with dual 12-megapixel cameras, 6 gigs of RAM. This is a Snapdragon 835 variant. This is in the US. It says 3,300 milliamp hour battery. This is a real powerhouse. I mean, it is probably giving you everything that if you didn't need in a phone, it's actually here. Meaning it has the iris scanner, waterproofing, fast charging, fast wireless charging. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the S Pen, so you already know that this is what makes this phone good. I'm going to tell you a true story. I was buying something and I needed to sign. Actually, no, I wasn't buying anything. I was doing a, you know, I do the videos for sometimes I do a sponsor video, and I needed to sign something. And, you know, some people always say, you know, the Galaxy Note is the best phone. What makes this phone one of the better phones is I do have this. I have the S Pen. So if I don't need to get to a computer, you ever been in that situation where you have to sign something, you have to get something, and it can tell that you're on a smartphone? Well, that's not the case with this phone right here. I actually can do DocuSign directly from this phone. Now, you can do DocuSign with other phones. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you can't do DocuSign with other phones, but it's just really convenient to have the S Pen. I mean, I don't know if people have never used the S Pen and you have a Galaxy Note 8 or just any Samsung Galaxy Note at all and you don't use the S Pen at some point or another, man, I don't want to say you're wasting your money, but you know, you really should step down to a device that doesn't have, and the closest thing is the Galaxy S8 and the S8 Plus, obviously. So other than that, I mean, I can't find much difference in these two devices, like the Galaxy S8 Plus and the Galaxy Note. Now, I'm not saying that the Galaxy S8 is just a Note 8 without an S Pen. No, no, no. But what I'm saying is, this is the best that Samsung has to offer. The fact that it has the S Pen is fantastic. Use the S Pen to sign my document, sent it right back to them. You know, not to mention the 6.3-inch display with split screen is really, really nice. And I've got several phones out there that have a split screen capability. But when you leave the Galaxy Note 8 and try to do split screen on some other Android phones, it's just not working right. It just doesn't feel right. There's not enough canvas, I should say. So with that being said, this is probably the best offering that Samsung has to offer. This is the best smartphone in their catalog. Some people still will say this is a huge phone. I mean, it is a big phone. There's other phones now that are stepping into the arena for the 18:9 ratio. That is the trend. That is where the market is going, and that's probably where the market is going to go on from here. We've already got 19:9 ratio phones, and this is getting good. So I'm curious to see how Samsung can actually squeeze in more screen and reduce bezels, because now that bezels are getting really thin, it's getting really difficult for you know, companies to come out with something that's considered bezel-less. Now, I have the black, pitch black wallpaper on this iPhone 10 here, and this is Apple's best offering for bezel-less and the higher premium phone that they have. But I just wanted to show you the borderless display. Samsung has done really good with the it appears to just have a top and a bottom, and if I put a black wallpaper on here, it's even better. But with this phone right here, I haven't experienced any battery issues either. Most cases, I don't even use a black wallpaper on here, but I guess I could, and that will probably greatly improve battery, but I just don't feel the need to. One area where this phone looked bad at one point going against other phones was the camera. It depends on which phone it's going against. And I haven't gotten any updates on this phone yet, but with the extended use of the Galaxy Note 8, I've learned that all these phones that I have, you just have to get the right setting. You have to be in the right lighting. So, you know, I could take, let me grab something to take a picture of here. You just got to be in the right lighting. And a lot of times the photos are not in the right lighting. That is some fantastic detail. I mean, it is just crazy. Do you see that? That is amazing. The Samsung Galaxy Note 8 does have a really good rear camera, while the front camera of most phones is not their strong suit. Even the almighty iPhone X doesn't have the best front camera. It's just what it is. This is just a quick 2-month follow-up. I'm a little past 2 months, but I had to tell you that, you know, just because you haven't seen any videos on this device, that doesn't mean it's not getting used. I mean, I hate to stress that I have a real SIM card in here and that I'm actually using this. It's just not in my SIM slot. So those who have asked, you know, Jay, what's your daily driver? Jay, what's your daily driver? Well, currently I'm using the top devices as my daily drivers. I'm using the iPhone X as my main SIM card. The Galaxy Note has my secondary SIM card, and then my U11 is on the charger. So I'm using the best of everything, and I swapped the U11 in and out with this powerhouse right here, the Xiaomi Mi A1. This is my stock Android beast right here. So Samsung definitely has done their job with producing a stellar device. I don't see this phone going downhill anytime soon. I've watched a lot of videos where people are saying this is the best in the world. If you think that's what it is, that's cool. To each their own. But what makes this phone not, in my opinion, this phone can't be labeled like top tier #1 because of a couple of reasons. The size and the price. The average consumer, or just anybody out there, we don't want to spend $1,000 on a device, and also we want something that's a little bit more pocketable. So I've also said before in another stream, I just kind of brought it up in a live stream and said, hey, would you guys want a Note Mini? Just give us this same phone, the size of the Galaxy S8, and keep it squared off. You know, make it a 5.9-inch display. It would be fantastic. Some people said, oh no, don't do that. Galaxy Note 8 Lite, I would love it. This phone right here is a pretty big phone, and if you don't think so, I mean, I have huge hands, and even I feel like this phone can be a little cumbersome at times. It's getting kind of chunky in the pocket because I wear a case when I go outside the house. Inside the house I'm fine, but it's still a huge phone. I mean, you saw what it looked like next to some other phones. This is a big phone. Let me grab my U11. I think it's done here. Yeah, it's finished. So here's the U11, and you get a sense of, you know, how big this phone is. This is a huge phone. Nonetheless, Samsung has done right by us with the Galaxy Note 8. They came back strong. They came back hard. And I had to celebrate by doing 2 months, just a little bit over 2 months in. This phone is great, man. Unlike some of the other Samsung phones, like I said, no lag, battery life is good for me. Reception is actually really good on this phone with T-Mobile for some reason. It's really strong. I mean, this is just the king of kings for screens. I was having a discussion with someone about screen quality. The iPhone X doesn't have a great screen. The iPhone X does have a great screen, but it's not better than the Galaxy Note 8. I mean, that's kind of obvious. Samsung is known for bringing top tier displays, and the display in the iPhone, last I checked, I thought it was made and produced by Samsung. I'm not sure of that. Don't quote me on that. It could be an AMOLED display from Samsung in there, but I will tell you that it doesn't look better than this display when watching. I mean, just the experience of watching a phone this huge and all screen with the content for media consumption, can't go wrong. I would have liked some stereo speakers on here. They didn't even have to do like the front facing speakers. They could have did like Apple and everybody else and just bring one out of the earpiece and make that one a loudspeaker, and that would have been great. But this is a follow-up with the Galaxy Note 8. Whew, it is still a monster, man. It's just like when I put this down sometimes and I pick it up, I'm like, oh my gosh, I missed this phone. But again, it is pricey. It is an expensive phone like most of the phones we have, and this is where the industry is going. So this phone is doing very well amongst the masses, I think, and I don't really care about sales figures and things like that. You know, one thing I've yet to see, I've seen a lot of people purchasing these phones, like if I walk in a T-Mobile store to buy something, a case, or I don't know, I'm just in there chatting with my buddies or something like that. I've seen a lot of people, when I was in the T-Mobile store recently, there was people buying, like there was a couple buying the phone, they got the free tablet, you know, not technically free, but they were just buying all this Galaxy Note stuff. Case, guys, on multiple occasions I've seen people buying this phone, but I never see them out in the masses. I never see a lot of people walking around with Galaxy Note 8s. Nope, I see a lot of Samsung Galaxy S8s. And I know some people might say, well, you know, the S8 is their main seller, and the S8, you don't know, and no one has any proof of that. You know what Samsung's intentions are for selling devices. They want to sell every device, and they want to sell millions of each device. But the fact is, this is a fantastic phone. If you want a big phone and you want the best that Samsung has to offer, I would tell you to get this over the S8 Plus for sure. But if you just want some of the greatest that Samsung has to offer, but you don't like how big this is, definitely go with the S8. It's your man Jay Will. Follow up on the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. King of displays is still here.